Hello, welcome back to the Pennsylvania Midseason Showdown. Joe Brown, Dan Levinson. We're doing great. We're in round 3 right now. Let me do that for you. Round 3, I have an awesome match set up between Tommy Cooleen and Kyle Funhouse? No,
Living House.
Living House.
Living House.
He probably lives in a fun house. Kyle Living House. I don't have the paper under me. It's all right. But they're both 2-0. We're in round 3, and this is I hear there's a rumor that if Tommy does very well, he can get his invite to Worlds.
Yeah, I
today.
think he mentioned that he needs to get a top 16 for this match. So he needs to just getting top 16 automatically gets his invite. Over 500 points, I believe. So
yeah, he did. He got top 8 at the London International. Yep. Been doing well at other regionals and PCs.
Even recently, he just went to that midseason showdown over in Texas. Came second place. So definitely in the running to get his invite today. But we're going to be jumping into this round 3 match between Tommy Cooleen and Kyle Livinghouse.
But Kyle might have something to say about that here in round 3. As you said, both 2-0. Tommy's on the bottom of your screen. He has Araquanid, Gigalith, Salamence, Porygon 2, Kartana, and Tapu Koko. Kyle has Porygon 2, Tapu Koko, Tapu Fini, Araquanid, and Kartana and Marowak.
Yeah, so interesting. We're seeing more Tapu Koko. I think, first, second, third, both players having both Tapu Kokos.
I think we've had, 6 for 6 so far.
Yeah, definitely. Literally the #1 popular Tapu for today. But we're going right into this match, and I believe I also saw more Kartana too. So it's definitely the hyped up Pokemon that it has been these past couple weeks now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people weren't up on Kartana right at the beginning because it was so frail, but just that offensive pressure that it outputs. So Tommy on the bottom, of course. Kyle opens Porygon 2 and Tapu Fini. Tommy opened Porygon 2 and Tapu Koko.
Yeah, so we're going to see that electric terrain get set up here. Misty terrain, though, following up right after with both of those Porygon 2 set up there. We're going to see that attack increase for Tommy. Not really important, but Kyle also getting the attack as well. So I think, so Tommy obviously in a better position, being able to do super effective damage onto that Tapu Fini, potentially with a Thunderbolt. But there's also that mind games between both of those Porygon 2s if they're carrying that Trick Room. So one could try and set it up, one could try and counter the Trick Room, and then even set up damage by that Tapu Fini as well if it goes for a Substitute or Calm Mind. So
far today, we have seen a bit more offensive Porygon 2s, so might be a little change of pace. But the Araquanid switch in, Tapu Fini gets the Protect, and Porygon 2 with the Tri-Attack onto Araquanid brings it down a little bit there, but there is that Trick Room, so the first Trick Room we're seeing out of Porygon 2 today on stream.
Yeah, really good setup by Tommy already, being able to switch out, bring in the Araquanid. So it will be the slower Pokemon on the field. However, that Tapu Fini will be able to do good damage if it's carrying any of those Fairy-type attacks. But I think Tommy may as well essentially try and get some setup here. But I think he may as well just go for a double target on Tapu Fini because Porygon 2 generally carry that Recover, and you'll need to do a lot more damage to try and knock it out.
Gigalith with the switch in here, going to set up the Sand, so that's going to boost its special defenses if it gets hit by that super effective water type attack, presumably Muddy Water, from Fini. But Liquidation onto Tapu Fini does a good amount of damage considering it is resisted. Calm Mind from Kyle's Tapu Fini, going to boost its special attack and special defense by 1 stage. And the Porygon 2 reverses the Trick Room there. So now we've seen both players have confirmed that they each have Trick Room.
Yeah, that's so much mind games whenever you're leading off with a Porygon 2 because you're just trying to take control of your speed. Maybe I might get it up, maybe my opponent might get it up, maybe no one will get it up. So there's always that factor when you're dealing with a Porygon 2. But I'm actually still surprised just how much that Liquidation did to Tapu Fini. But again, it actually doesn't really have much defense anyway, so I guess it kind of makes sense to see it do about a third there onto it. But that Gigalith coming out now, bringing out that Sand Stream, could potentially be doing huge amounts of damage.
If Araquanid is carrying Lunge, you might want to do that, so it's not, so it does a little bit more damage. Obviously not going to affect the attack stats as the Porygon 2 and Tapu Fini are both special attackers, but with Gigalith also, excuse me, he can get hit super effectively, but maybe a potential Rockium Z onto that Porygon 2 slot. But Porygon 2 does switch out into Kartana here with that Steel Grass typing is going to be helped out from the Sandstorm. Araquanid switching out back into Tapu Koko, setting up Electric Surge again, so no more Misty Terrain here. And what does Tapu Fini go for? The Muddy Water, which is super effective, but how much damage will it do to Gigalith? It does just under 50% on that turn, but lowers Tapu Koko's accuracy, which is a huge...
Love that Z move by Tommy right there.
Tommy with his, yeah. Life imitating art in that situation. Tommy with the Rocky MZ Continental Crush attacking the Tapu Fini slot. So will it be enough for a knockout, bringing the house down on Kyle Livinghouse, and gets the one-hit knockout?
Really? I love your commentary. Really knocking out that Tapu Fini right there. Now won't be able to set up that Misty Terrain anymore. But Kartana coming in now can start threatening the Gigalith with a Leaf Blade. But Trick Room is still up right now and could still give some problems for Kyle trying to set up any damage. But Kyle taking his time here, trying to figure out what is his next bet Pokemon to bring it out. But guess he's going to be going with the Porygon too, and just going to try and hope for a download boost of Special Attack. But we will see it. Special Attack boost for Porygon 2 up by 1 stage.
This is a tough situation here for Kyle because his Porygon 2, if he tries to set up Trick Room, Gigalith will be slower. But at this moment, Porygon 2 can't put out much offensive pressure against either of these Pokemon neither.
Yeah, Gigalith going to be switching out now for the Porygon 2, probably trying to reset the Trick Room again.
And here so his download is probably going to be the... Oh, it is a special attack. I would assume it would have been the attack there. But Kartana is going to protect here. And Tapu Koko with the Thunderbolt straight into that protect. Porygon 2 with the Tri-Attack into Tapu Koko, bringing it under 50%. Everyone's going to get hit by sand here. But a bit of a neutral turn. Tommy gets his Porygon 2 back in for free and can try to set up Trick Room if he needs to. But with Tapu Koko out, doesn't really need to.
Yeah, even then, he could also potentially just switch out for the Gigalith and trying to get more momentum and keeping his Tapu Koko in the back. But Electric Terrain is still set up on the field, so he could try and deal good damage onto the Kartana.
Kyle, is he going to be able to come back in this one? Volt switch onto Kartana does 50% there, switching out into potentially a slower Pokemon like Gigalith or whoever Tommy has in the back, because if he does, potentially Porygon went for the Trick Room in this situation. There is Araquanid, who is a relatively slow Pokemon, so that might be what Tommy is going for. But Kartana with the Leaf Blade into Araquanid. Araquanid survives with barely any HP, but the Ice Beam is enough because of that. I don't know if it's because of that download boost, but potentially because of it. It gets the boost there. And Trick Room coming out from Kyle's Porygon 2. Crazy turn.
Yeah, Kyle being able to set up Trick Room again and Sandstream being able to knock out the Araquanid. So I think Kyle is probably in a better position, but being that Tommy's... We did see he does have the Tapu Koko left. I'm not sure if he still has one more Pokemon after that, but we are going to see the Gigalith come out for Tommy, and Kyle will be sending out his Araquanid.
And because Gigalith came in while Sandstorm was still up, that means it's going to get set down either this turn or next turn, and not going to have any more of that Sand Tick.
Yeah, and then Araquanid is also going to be threatening the Gigalith as well with a Liquidation. So Tommy going to have to play this out really carefully, potentially even trying to bring back the Tapu Koko and just threatening the Araquanid with a Thunderbolt or a Volt Switch.
Going to see the Protect coming out from Araquanid this turn, and Stone Edge into that Protect. So a bit of a wasted turn there, but Tommy with his own Trick Room going to reset those twisted dimensions back to normal. Never mind, because Kyle also went for the Trick Room. This is a crazy turn of events here. Too many Trick Rooms.
Yeah, just being able to reset Trick Room and the duration of it. So normally Trick Room lasts for 5 turns, but whenever you want to reset it again, that's the best way. Just playing more mind games, like I said earlier, and both players just falling for each other. But Stone Edge going to do super effective damage and knocking out that Araquanid in 1 hit.
So that was actually better for Tommy there. That Trick Room was reset since Gigalith went faster than the Arachnid. Here comes the Toxic out onto Kyle's Porygon 2. And Porygon 2 went for the Ice Beam onto Tommy's Porygon 2. So in this situation, Tommy made out better here by getting the one hit on Arachnid and a Poison off.
Yeah, so really powerful position for Tommy right now. Just being able to predict his opponent, getting the Trick Room set up again, and now he even got the Toxic onto the Porygon too. So this looks like Tommy's game right now momentarily. But there, we're going to see the forfeit by Kyle, and Tommy will be taking this first game.
Yeah, with that forfeit, bit of a difficult situation for Kyle there that Arachnid not towards the end. So it was really cool to see all the Trick Room back and forth, obviously, but it was a big next level play to Trick Room, his Trick Room. But in the end, Gigalith was faster than Arachnid, so because he reset that Trick Room, Gigalith was able to knock out his Arachnid and might have cost him that victory.
Yeah, just so much mind games. I know whenever I'm making teams, you always have that factor of, do I want to add another Trick Room setter? Because this would be perfect. If my opponent just goes for the double protect on the last turn of Trick Room, then I could set up my double Trick Room on that turn and just reset it. And there you go. You got another 5 more turns of Trick Room. So really good play by Tommy, just getting that prediction down.
Yeah, and obviously, as we said earlier, if he does well today, if he gets top 16, he will get his Worlds invite very early on here in January. But with one more win, all he has to worry about one round at a time. So both players, both Tommy and Kyle, are 2-0. We are here in round 3 of the Pennsylvania Midseason Showdown. Joe Brown and Dan Levinson, just love saying our names because we're just so cool.
You love us, guys. You know it. But actually, I just wanted to bring up, because of us trying to figure out how download works, I looked it up. And basically, to get a special attack boost for Porygon, you need your special defense to be lower than the current defense stats. So even if there's an Intimidate drop or anything, you just want it, whatever stat that was, that's how you're going to figure out what boost you're going to get. And in addition, defense and special defense, if they're both equal, you're going to get a special attack boost. So just something for the viewers to be thinking about.
Yeah, that's good information to know, because I feel like a lot of times when I see a Porygon 2 or I try to play one on my own, I'm like, oh, am I going to get the right boost here? But
yeah,
that's
exactly.
good information to know.
Just knowing your base defenses, it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect your download boost.
And if you try to spec your Pokemon to have more special defense and defense, you don't have to worry about that boost.
Yeah, that's true.
But so Porygon 2 and Salamence coming out on Tommy's end of the field, and the Marowak Kartana. So completely different matchup here for both of our players.
Yeah, Tommy going with a really good lead of Porygon 2 and Salamence. So that Intimidate drop is very powerful and dropping both of Marowak and Kartana's attack stats. But the Salamence, though, able to threaten actually either of them, depending on what Tommy's set is. Most Salamence do carry the Flamethrower, and then he also has the option going for the Draco Meteor onto the Marowak. So it's going to be doing so much damage onto Kyle's side of the field.
All right, and if Salamence is holding that Z move, which is very common in this format, it gets off the free Draco without that chance of the accuracy. No, 90% accuracy, it will 100% hit, but who knows if that's going to happen. Kartana switching out into the Tapu Fini, so Misty Surge is going to be set up here. No more burns or paralyze or anything like that, but Salamence switches out, wanting to preserve that Intimidate. Marowak is -1, so even if it goes for a hit, it's going to be a little bit neutered. Into the Gigalith slot, Sandstream comes up, going to boost up those special defenses again, which is important, especially against Tapu Fini there. Marowak switching out, too, into his own Porygon 2. We're going to see more Porygon 2 shenanigans in this game. Gets that special attack download boost, and there's the Trick Room from Tommy.
Yeah, wow, so much stuff happening that first turn. Kyle already revealing all 4 of his Pokemon with that double switch, and Tommy being able to bring out his Gigalith with the Trick Room setup. So Tommy does have the slowest Pokemon on the field with that Gigalith, and gonna start threatening both of Kyle's Pokemon. He could even start going for a Rock Slide, but again, he has to just keep in mind that Tapu Fini and with it carrying the Muddy Waters. So, and it's super effective. Even with the special defense boost by the Sand, it'll still be doing a whole bunch of damage.
And potentially another Continental Crush out of the Gigalith slot there. Onto Porygon 2. Could do a good amount of damage. Probably not going to knock out since it's so bulky with that Eviolite boost. But we are going to see Tommy go for it again with the Rocky MZ move, aka a Continental Crush. Does he go for the Porygon 2 slot? Because I don't know how much it would really do to Tapu Fini. And then, he does go for Tapu Fini. So it's going to bring it down. Will it be enough for the one hit?
Doing so much damage. Is it enough?
No, brings it to the red.
Yeah.
And a tri-attack going off onto Tommy's Porygon. What does the opposing Ice Beam onto Kyle's? Tapu Fini gets the knockout there. So the double target from Tommy gets the knockout there. Not really worried about Porygon 2's tri-attack and a strong turn for Tommy.
Yeah, just amazing. Tommy getting the right read there, going for the double target onto Kyle's Tapu Fini, and already moving a really huge counter. I mean, being able to set up those Calm Minds, it's really threatening, the Misty Terrain, and now he's free to bring in his Tapu Koko later after the Trick Room wears out and can start bringing out that Electric Terrain. But Kartana switching in now and will be resisting any sand damage that comes out, being a Steel Grass type.
Right, and once Tommy switches that terrain up, he can go for another Toxic onto Kyle's Porygon 2 like he did last game.
Well, we do have the Misty Terrain out, so there won't
That's
be
what I'm saying,
toxic.
once it switches.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Missed that last part. But also, even the prediction between both of the Porygon 2s and setting up that Trick Room, and if Kyle might counter the Trick Room.
Here comes Salamence here, lowering Kartana's attack stat, which might be important. But no, he goes for a Protect on this turn. Was expecting maybe a Smart Strike onto that Gigalith slot, but nope. Ice Beam into it. Porygon 2 with his Ice Beam onto Salamence. I don't know if it was a predict or pot luck, but that Salamence is down.
Yeah, Salamence going down in one hit, and Tommy already now down 3v3 versus him and Kyle. I don't know. I think, okay, well, so Tommy might just bring back his Gigalith since Trick Room is still set up, and okay, so we're gonna see it come out now. But Kartana could also threaten back with a Sacred Sword onto the Porygon 2, but I think it might just want to go for a Leaf Blade onto the Gigalith and probably just double target with Porygon 2. Should be enough to take it out.
If Gigalith is able to get a good enough attack off, obviously he already used his Z move, so he doesn't have that in the back anymore, but maybe we'll see more Porygon 2 Trick Room shenanigans or mirrors. Yeah. A lot can happen this turn.
Yeah, really. I mean, Tommy could also just go ahead and switch out his Gigalith, bring out the Tapu Koko, and then just go for a Trick Room. And then now he's in the pretty fast spot.
Rock Slide, Kartana avoids there. So it's still going to be at full HP. Doesn't do too much to Porygon 2. Ice Beam on the Kartana. Brings it down. Wow. So if Rock Slide hit, that would have been a knockout of that Kartana in that slot. Leaf Blade, and Kyle sets up reverses Trick Room. So now the Twisted Dimensions have returned to normal. Kartana does not get affected by the Sandstorm, so he will not get knocked out from it. That Rock Slide was huge.
Yeah, really. That was really important to get the knockout on that Kartana, because now Kartana is free to either Sacred Sword or Leaf Blade, but Kyle also has to remember, well, no, he actually lost a Salamence, so no Intimidate drops can even happen right now, so Tommy kind of is in a rough spot. He could try and go for another Trick Room setup here, but he'll have to make the right predictions.
Maybe you have to hope that Leaf Blade was a roll and it did more that last turn, but Kartana with the Protect, Araquanid coming in there, Porygon 2 with the Recover, and at some point that Misty Surge has to be coming down relatively soon. Gigalith with the Earthquake onto Porygon 2 and its own Araquanid. So the question is, who does it do more damage to, his own Araquanid or Porygon 2? Turns out Porygon 2. Sandstorm subsides, as well as Misty Terrain.
Yeah, that Eviolite on Porygon 2, and just Araquanid being able to resist the ground type being part bug won't be really doing so much damage this turn, but Kartana still surviving there, hanging on with a sliver of health, and we'll just have to be trying to put in some pressure here.
Kartana, yep, as it's the fastest it can get a Leaf Blade off. It protected that last turn kind of interestingly. I guess if the Leaf Blade didn't get the knockout, then the Earthquake would have, been rough, but I guess Kyle's in the same situation here again.
Yeah, gonna get that Leaf Blade onto that Araquanid, taking it right under half as a Tri-Attack will likely double target.
Double target is not enough for the knockout on Araquanid. leaves it. And Liquidation obviously not going for the damage there, just getting the knockout because the Kartana was so low. Gigalith's Rock Slide, gonna connect, no misses. Porygon 2 is still over 50%. So a peculiar turn by Kyle, like as I was saying with Marowak coming out as Kyle's last Pokemon, the Kartana was -1, and we saw it did over 50% with the Leaf Blade last time to Gigalith with -1. So why not go to try and knock out Gigalith there and keep your Kartana around, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest threat, and now that Marowak is on the field, it threatens to knock out the Araquanid, but again, Rock Slide will be threatening the Marowak as well.
And Gigalith is going to switch out into that Porygon 2. So both players' Porygons are at relatively the same HP, roughly in the same area. Araquanid with the Protect, very safe turn here by Tommy. Do we see a Trick Room go off? Substitute on Marowak. Okay, so he's now behind a sub, and the Tri-Attack into Araquanid, trying to get the knockout there. So we're still at still at the regular dimensions. No Trick Room is up or anything, so the Porygons would be faster, and then most likely Marowak, then Araquanid.
Yeah, I really like. See, this is the best part about these best of threes. Marowak, you rarely ever see Substitute on it. I know the sets before have generally been carrying the Boomerang, the Flare Blitz, the Shadow Bone, but people have been opting to drop the Boomerang and just bringing out another surprise move, and Substitute definitely showing how well it is.
Gigalith with that Sandstream, bringing it back up again. Marowak goes for Shadow Bone. Thankfully not onto Porygon 2, because that would have been embarrassing, but onto the Gigalith, leaving it with just a little bit of HP. Here's a recover. Going to put Porygon up to almost full health there. And the Porygon 2 goes for Trick Room. So Kyle is just answering every move Tommy goes for with his Porygon 2.
Yeah, perfect predictions by Kyle there, just being able to reverse it again. And Substitute, though, still going to be able to pack a punch. It will be threatening that Gigalith, and could do relatively small damage to the Porygon 2, but the Gigalith definitely is the threat right now.
But since it's tough, it's got one hit left in it, so will it be enough? Will that Gigalith Porygon 2 combination be enough for to get rid of Marowak's sub and keep Gigalith around? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, really going to depend on these next couple turns as the time is starting to tick down. Tommy's still in the lead there with 3 Pokemon, but Gigalith just hanging on with a sliver of health as Kyle is down to his last 2 Pokemon with Marowak and Porygon 2.
And Araquanid is also in the red, so very, very low Pokemon on Tommy's end. Here's a Protect from the Marowak, and Gigalith's Rock Slide. Does it connect with Porygon 2? Yes, it does. Did a good amount of damage the last time around, so it's okay. Porygon could go for another. Oh, no, it flinched. It flinched. That was huge because it could have went for a recover there. But Porygon 2 is now in the red, and obviously sub is still up on Marowak, though, so I would assume Kyle is still okay with this position.
Yeah, I mean, really Tommy could just needs to start doing damage and just whittling away the health. But he's also just hoping for those status conditions too. An Ice Beam here would be great for him, stopping Porygon 2 from able to use to recover.
And a rock Slide should pick up that knockout on Porygon 2.
Yeah, but Marowak's still holding in there. I don't know. I mean, I really want to see what other moves it has, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the standard set and just dropping the Boomerang for the Substitute.
So there is the Earthquake, which is going to hit the sub, but so Marowak doesn't take the damage, luckily for Kyle, but it is going to break that sub. Tommy's Porygon takes a little bit of damage there from the Earthquake, but gets that pesky Porygon off of Kyle's side. Here's the Toxic. Good thing for Tommy that the Substitute was gone, or the Toxic would not have worked. It is now poisoned. Shadow Bone onto Gigalith will get the knockout here. So Tommy has a Araquanid, which has 1 turn left because it's going to get buffeted by the Sandstorm next turn, and his Porygon 2 left.
Yeah, I think Tommy is in a fantastic position now just because he can just go for the recover and slowly chip away at Marowak's health between the Toxic and the Sandstorm. So he's in a really good position going into this last couple turns. Araquanid coming out now with, again, just a sliver of health there with just 8 HP.
Right, so Araquanid, if Marowak goes for the Protect here, Araquanid is going to be knocked out, and that's what we see. So if Porygon goes for the Recover, he'll be at full health, and Marowak is taking toxic damage. So it all depends on how much damage the Marowak is able to do. But Porygon at full health and Marowak's on a timer, it's looking very strong for Tommy.
Yeah, really good looking for him right now. Araquanid getting knocked out here. Sand damage being done to both Pokemon, but even with a possible Flare Blitz from the Marowak onto the Eviolite, Porygon 2 just won't be enough, as we see the Toxic still tick away at Marowak's damage, doubling in points.
Right, because Shadow Bone he can't hit, obviously, and with Flare Blitz, it would do the recoil damage, plus Toxic, plus Sand. Yeah, Tommy is going to be moving on to 3-0 in the tournament so far.
Yeah, there's that Ice Beam onto Marowak. Marowak trying to go for that Flare Blitz, trying to dish out some damage here as it's about to get knocked out, taking it right under half. There's the recoil. Gonna get some poison, and this will be a win for Tommy in this game 2, moving on to 3-0.
Yeah, congrats, Tommy. So, yeah, obviously Kyle is 2-1, and he's been playing some great players today. There's the handshake. So he still has a chance to top cut. We have 68 Masters here today in the Pennsylvania Midseason Showdown. There are 7 rounds, so we still have a lot of Pokemon to get through, plus top cut. It's definitely not over for Kyle, obviously, that he's 2-1. He can win back out and take out Tommy in top cut.
Yeah, this really, really good games by both players. Even though this was only a 2-game set, I think it was still pretty strong, and just so much predictions by both players. All the trick rooms being reset and just counter trick rooming and all the switches. Really, really phenomenal job.
Yeah, so let's get an interview with Tommy. When we come back, it'll be a quick break. He's very handsome. He lost the beard and became a little more handsome. So let's show it on stream, get a little closer up. Stay tuned. This is Liberty Garden.
Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.